Yeah, I think I was very lucky. I always knew I wanted to work with robots since from a very young age. And I was at the university in Odense at that time, and there we were doing computer simulations. And then my professor at that time was called out to the shipyard here, where in 1988 they introduced the first welding robots. And then they could see some challenging if they want these welding robots to be welding the part of the ships that Linear was doing, then they needed some more advanced technology. So they turned to the university to say if they can help them. And my professor then came back to us after this meeting and said, is that something you want to do? Is this interesting? And I think there was a general consensus, yes, we were 3 persons at that time. Yes, this is interesting, we can do that. And as always, when you start with something you don't know anything about, think this is easy. That must be just straight ahead. And then we started with the first one. We should have the simulation system up and running that then could make the robot weld in a new way. After half a year, the shipyard came back to us, and then they asked, how are you doing? Yeah? And we say, okay, we're doing fine. We showed them a nice simulation on the screen saying, you can see that we are progressing in the right direction. They say, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then after half a year, they came back again there, and then they said, okay, yeah, how are you doing there? And we were really struggling. We didn't know what to do. So basically, we just put color on the same simulation that we have shown half a year before. We showed that and they say, oh yes, we can really see you're doing progress. So based on that, I say, okay, yeah, wow, that at least brought us half a year to 1 year more. And then after the next half year, they came back, and then we actually managed to get the first robots moving with our new software there. So that was the very early beginning. So it was generally this fake it to make it, and we really succeeded in that. Yeah, I think actually in Copenhagen at DTU they had a professor there who was actually doing quite okay, but there was no really industry in Denmark for it at that time. But it was more like DTU was somehow influencing the early adoption there. And after he passed away, then no one really took up this idea of that we can do robotics in Denmark. So then it passed to Odense at that time. And then in the 90s, we worked with a shipyard very close together, and I made my first company there together with 2 of my friends there. There we made this company called Amrose that basically was simulation and developing of systems for welding robots there. And in 2001, together with this kind of collapse of the IT there, we had to shut down, and I went to actually to work for the shipyard for some years. And that was a hard time because we have done a lot of creative work for many years, and now we were in a situation where the shipyard was in a decline, so they could not afford that. And then I just realized it was much more important to know not only about robotics, but also about the economy. So I took a degree in finance there to be able to talk together with this different financial people that by the end of the day are the one who is giving you money for your research. And after I have took that degree, I went back to university again. Yeah. And in the start of the new millennium here, this whole industry of robotics was really in a distress. I think there was only 2 or 3 persons left at university who were doing robotics at that time because the shipyard has pulled back from their very close engagement. And then the municipality and also the region of southern Denmark, they came together and said, okay, we wanted to support that, and they made this kind of robocluster environment for that, and put some new energy into that. We got Grundfos in as a kind of collaboration partner there, and this actually started to grow again. I think it could grow because the earth was fertile. So after 10 years of development, there was really many people who knew something about robotics, and now you could really use that knowledge again to build up this next generation of industry there. I think before 2010, no one in the world really thought that robot could be made in Denmark. So that was just a kind of impossibility. I think we could make farm things, we could make windmills, things like that. But robotics, you could only make that in companies who had car manufacturing capabilities, and that was not existing in Denmark. But that makes us having other abilities instead. So we need to come up with a way to do this, and you can call it a more lean way. So we needed to do that efficiently. We needed to find a market very fast, and we needed to be global from the start.